Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brain Tunes with Achna in collaboration with Radio Brain Drive. Today, I have with me in my series Women of Substance, a real woman of substance, Miss Komal Khange. Welcome to Brain Tunes with Achna, Miss Khange.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing, ma'am?
Awesome. Couldn't have been better than what I am right now.
That's lovely. Great to hear. Audience, let me tell you who Miss Khange is. Miss Khange is a master's in psychology by academics. That is, she holds a degree in psychology, post which she pursued a career in banking and finance. She also was with Times of India for a short time, and I guess this was her first job. And post which she has ventured into something which will blow your minds. Let us hear from Miss Khange who Miss Khange is. All yours, Miss Khange.
All right. Thank you so much for such a wonderful introduction. I'm so humbled. So yeah, it's been an awesome journey as I started. I started with doing my masters, like you rightly said, and my very first job was with the Times of India, and it was a super exciting job because they had these classifieds. You had a number that one would call on, and you could place an advertisement. So that was space selling. And I happened to generally apply without any thought in the mind, and I said, okay, let me just start with this. Times of India sounds like a good place to be at. And I've had the privilege to be interviewed by the senior most people that time, and it was such a humbling experience because I never expected to get shortlisted. But yeah, it was awesome. And then I think about a year and a half while I was studying masters in psychology in Mumbai University, I applied for this job and I also started working over there, and I gained a lot of knowledge about selling and about space selling, and that was like the in thing. So that way of advertising for companies who wanted to expand their growth and expand their availability and stuff. So it was a really happening place, happening space in that times, in those times, and Times of India being the leading newspaper. So my interest towards this kind of work, like selling or connecting to people, because I had a psychology background, I was able to connect to people really fast. And with all the training and with everything that I learned over there, I think that was the foundation that laid my interest towards the forward journey. So yeah.
Then how did you venture from that field to banking and finance, Miss Khange?
Oh my god. So uh, that again is a very interesting journey, because my very first job in the banking and the finance sector was with Standard Chartered Bank way back in 97. So after I finished Times of India for almost 1 year, I went to Standard Chartered for car finance. So they were looking for people in the managerial position who could lead a team. And I generally happened to apply, used to typically go through, since I was in classifieds at Times of India, there was a classified advertisement which was placed by that particular the bank, and I said, oh, this looks like a very interesting uh, so I was booking the ad and I applied to that position saying, let me explore this. So I said, okay, I would like to explore being in a leading position or a managerial kind of position. I felt pretty confident that I could do it. And I got selected. So that's how the banking and the finance industry. So it was all very unplanned, but like they say, there is a master plan, and the master plan can never be wrong. So I just went with the flow, and I did extremely well over there as well. I had very good bosses, very supporting people. And I think that's what further increased my confidence. So, yeah.
That's lovely, Miss Kanye. So I guess I can simply sum up your personality as being a very daring spirit who ventured from psychology into the Times of India, the newspaper media, and then you again went into the banking sector, quite diverse sectors. So where does your daring spirit come from? Is it from the military background that you come from, ma'am?
I owe it to my parents actually. So I always wanted to be doing things which are different, like do something different. Because I think what I learned from my parents is, if there is an opportunity and if you don't even try it, okay, because some fear or some belief system stops you, you won't even know what is your potential, whether that potential can be further exploited and explored. So I think it comes a lot from my dad and my mom. They have the kind of foundation they have laid down during my upbringing years. They have encouraged me for everything in life. So whether it was learning a cycling or a swimming as a child, uh, in fact, my dad was so keen that I should know all of the sports that he is into. So he how he taught me swimming is he pushed me in the pool. He literally, I was standing at the poolside wondering, should I be taking this sport seriously and should I be knowing it so seriously? And he just came from the back and he just threw me in the pool. And there I was trying to learn swimming. And I learned that as late as when I was like 16 years old. So he was very sure that, my kids should know everything.
Mhm.
So whether it was driving, whether it was swimming, trust me, he's a taskmaster. So he was like, no, he's never differentiated daughter, son. So we are two sisters, and he made sure that both of us know everything. So we should know at least the basics. You may not know the advanced levels or whatever. If your interest takes you to that, it's good enough. And my mom also, she never stopped him saying, okay, no, these are girls. Why do you want them to know this or know that? So whatever as a nurturer in a woman is needed, I got it from my mother. And whatever as adventure and as being able to face the world strongly, uh, I got it from my father. So I think, yeah, they play a very big role in the way I am molded today.
Okay, so your dad is from the army background and your mom is a homemaker, ma'am?
No, she was also in the army. She was a
Oh,
captain in the army. She
uh-huh.
was a dentist in the army. And she used to teach after they were both part of the 65 and the 71 wars. So China and Pakistan wars.
Mm-hmm.
And so they served during the short service commission during those war time. And then my mom moved to teach in the government dental college in Mumbai.
Okay.
So she was serving in Pune in Sassoon Hospital for a couple of years, and then we moved to Mumbai, and then she was a lecturer at the government dental college, and she's trained a lot of students, and her students till today, uh, they send her messages as to how indebted they are to her for the knowledge and the wisdom she has shared.
That's lovely. So I guess the fighter, the warrior spirit, which we will be talking about further, of venturing into something which was a real challenge and which was considered a huge risk, and how you moved from a very secure banking and finance field into this field. So what is your, I would like to know your transition from media to banking, and then having started from the lowest rung there, climbing to the highest of positions, and finally taking up the cudgels and becoming an entrepreneur, nothing less but for the e-commerce sector, not only pan India, but also across the globe. So you have made your presence felt on foreign soil as well. So please lead my audience into this journey, Ms. Khange.
Sure, I would love to do that. And that's a really awesome question, because that transition is what today is very satisfying. But in the process of the transition, it had been such a roller coaster ride. but it was a lot of fun. So, like I said, the media was my first job, and I just, by the way, applied, and it just happened. And while I was doing that job, this opportunity to start my career in the banking industry, like I said, I was placing an ad for them, and I applied for that position, and that's how that happened. And I think what drove me to do this is this fundamental value that has come to me from my parents, that if you don't even explore, you won't even know. So the good part is, if I become a failure, thought has now never been my belief system. Belief system has been, it's okay to try and fail, rather not try at all. So failure was never looked at as a obstacle. It was more like a stepping stone.
Mm-hmm.
It was like a stepping stone to know what else can be explored, what else can be done.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I explored so many different jobs. And during that journey of banking, I think my longest stint was with one of the most leading private sector banks of India. It's a very highly respected organization, a lot of value systems in place. Private bank, but a lot of conservative values.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a banking space was again growing. That bank was also, it started in 1994. So when I joined that bank, it was 2000, in the year 2000. And so because they were also with the wavelength that, okay, slow and steady, we will build up our business.
Mm-hmm.
And the scope to allow people to grow in the organization, within the organization, was something which allowed me to keep trying out different positions. So when I entered at the very basic level, at the very, like the junior most level, I really did not have any expectations. So I think that is a very important aspect, that when you start something without any expectations, you just have your mind more open, so you're more like a parachute. And I think minds and parachute function at best when they're open.
Exactly. Lovely
So,
explanation, Ms. Khange. So what is the difference between e-commerce and the traditional commerce?
yes. So, we have seen how businesses have evolved. So earlier, when life, in the early days, maybe in my days of my parents, like the grandparents, okay, businesses were more barter system. I have this more, you have this more. So we exchange commodities. And a beautiful example of the barter system alive today is Auroville.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've ever been to Auroville at, Pondicherry, they still have that, so they operate out of, there is no value for the money, the currency money, but it's like, I have more of this, you have more of this. How can we exchange and live in harmony and live in sustenance? So that is how it evolved. And then you had these mom and pop stores which came up. So there was a single person who had certain limited amount of goods and services. And then money and the currency evolved. So people would pay for that and receive whatever they wanted. So even the evolution of the commerce industry has been very beautiful, and how it evolved, right? So, and then we had a Hypercity which came up. So you had lot of products and services under one roof.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how the Hypercity, Hypermall, one-stop shop solution. And then we have different ways of how those got promoted. So we had telephone, you would get phone calls, telemarketing. Before the TRAI regulations came in, they said you cannot sell like that unless the client, the person you're calling has given you a permission. And then happened tele shopping. So now you have channels which are dedicated, which promote products,
Mm-hmm.
So in commerce, what is important is there is a product and there is a service, and there are people who need the products and the services. So e-commerce brings the products and the services on a platform, and the buyers, and it's like a platform which connects the two.
Okay.
So e-commerce is basically any trade which happens on an online platform. You either buy a product or service, but you use the online medium. So it was a very visionary thought for somebody to have started this as a business on an online platform. So now you have a lot of Snapdeal, Flipkart, Amazon, Alibaba, all these which are e-commerce platforms.
So what is the name of your e-commerce platform, ma'am, your business?
Yeah, so our business is a business which was formed in 1998, and the parent is called QI Group, and QI is actually Qi, and in Chinese, Qi means positive energy. So the way it is written in English is QI, but actually means Ki or Chi, which is positive energy. And way back in 1998, there was no e-commerce as such that was happening. And there was no company other than Microsoft that could support this kind of a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
So when the company said that, okay, how can we have a more global business and how can we increase scalability and yet keep the costs under control? Because the beauty of e-commerce is two things. One is your global presence, the way you can expand your business. So your scalability, that's one part, because everybody wants to grow their business to the next level. And the other part is it being affordable for people, because when you have brick and mortar or you have a shop or you have, there are a lot of costs which get added, and all that goes into the end price, and that is paid by the customer. So how can a customer get value for money products, and how can the value be like reasonably priced so that the customer can afford it? So that's what is the beauty of e-commerce.
Right. So what are the products that you deal in, ma'am?
Yeah. So we are into 7 verticals, which are B2C, that is business to consumers directly.
Mm-hmm.
And there are again 14 other verticals, which are B2B, which are the parent QI products and services. So basically, all the fastest growing products and services of the 21st century. So these are industries like, for example, today, health and wellness is a big industry.
Mm-hmm.
So there are products and services which cater to the requirements of health. And these are again bifurcated into 2 categories. So there are products and services which one can consume, where they take care of your bone health, your gut, your immunity, your skin, anti-aging, So those are more like health supplements that one can consume to take care of all of these aspects. And the other aspect is based on quantum physics. So these are energy-based products which are created on the principle of quantum physics. So we are all an energy field. We are all energy. Everything is energy.
Right.
Whether it's static energy, moving energy, kinetic energy. So basically, the whole quantum physics principle, which says that all energy has to flow in a certain field so that you stay healthy.
Mm-hmm.
So we have these energy centers, which we in India, we call them chakras. So right from the crown to the root chakra, there are 7 main energy centers, and then there are minor energy centers. So when these are in balance, that's when your body functions at the utmost, immunity is like so raised that it functions at the utmost level of health. Now, when your body is not in the harmony, and when there are blockages in your energy centers, which we call, imbalance in the chakras, basically, what happens is the first thing it does, it brings down your immunity. So there are free radicals which attack the body, and because of these free radicals, we attract illnesses. So right from a minor cold flu to a major, cancer or whatever are the challenges that we see. A lot of challenges of these kind of diseases increased over the last 2 decades. So the need to address this is what we have done through our bioenergy products. So they are, products which are infused with biophotons using nanotechnology. And when you use this in your day-to-day life, over a period of 3 months to 6 months, you start seeing the change in your body.
So what all countries have you spread your wings to, ma'am?
Oh, there's so much more to spread. And I started with US, South Africa, Australia, UK, Singapore, Dubai. And every year I target to have increased the list and add at least 3 more new international markets. And domestically also, it's a wonderful opportunity for people to embark. So there are a lot of tier 2 cities and tier 3 cities where people are exploring how they can become entrepreneurs. And so, I'm open to go even to Andaman, Nicobar, Lakshadweep, those kind of places. So today, because the government, Modi government is also promoting Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Mm-hmm.
And, a lot of support has come from the Modi government towards this industry of e-commerce, and, it promotes being Atmanirbhar. So I think it's very empowering. And so everybody wants to be empowered. The geography does not matter. So it's the hunger that you have that will actually drive you to your success in this business. That's the only important criteria, the hunger that you have to move ahead in life.
Let's say, ma'am, if a person wants to get into e-commerce, so how and where do you think he or she will get guidance from?
Yeah, so this journey has been set up in such a way that somebody who makes a decision that I would like to diversify. So there would be people who are currently into their own profession,
Mm-hmm.
or they are into jobs, and they have been toying with this idea, because that's how my journey began in 2013 into this business.
Mm-hmm.
So at the back of the mind, I always felt underutilized of my potential. So as an employee, what happens is you work in a framework, and somewhere that framework has its limitations, because your creativity and your potential, if it has to come out, it's very important that what else can you do beyond that box, out of the box. So I felt the need to explore this, and I started my journey. And I said, okay, let me do this as a backup. So I had a job, and I said, whatever free time I have, rather than watch stuff which is probably not going to add any value, why don't I try this? Because time is a level playing opportunity that the universe and the Almighty has given to everybody. Everybody has 24 hours. It's how you spend these 24 hours, and that can make the shift. What kind of thought process are you going through? What kind of actions are you doing? And what kind of results do you want for yourself? So if you have the clarity for that, that's what will lead you to the next level of your life. So like I was saying, one needs to be sure in the mind that, yeah, I am not where I want to be in my life. Okay. And with the existing profession that they are in, there is standard operating processes that have been set up since the last 22 years across various geographies. So the journey is so beautifully planned right from day one. It's like actually being in a corporate setup, but having a lot of freedom. So it's a lethal combination of that. So there are people who are so experienced in the industry who actually mentor and guide you every step of you, so that you reach your finishing line. So the kind of mentorship is so strong. There's an entire vertical which only focuses on the growth, the leadership, the development of an individual, because it's a huge process. It's a shift of mindset, and that does not happen overnight. So you keep needing guidance at regular intervals. So that is in place. It's there for the last 22 years, and it's really rock solid.
That's amazing, ma'am. So see, the questions which I just asked, we can just Google and we can find the answers for them. But I wanted a person who has been there, done that, to explain it to my audience so that we have a better idea of are we getting into the right thing, because these are things which we have to give a lot of thought to. Like you said, yes, we need to have the drive, the passion. Everybody has been given the same advantage of the time frame, what you said, the 24 hours. But then how we utilize them and what we make out of it, our thoughts are what make us. So I guess that was what I was looking at here. So, ma'am, does your organization provide such training facilities if people really want to explore this?
Yes, there's a proper hand holding which happens right from day one. And every minute, there's a roadmap that one needs to follow. So the roadmap is clear cutly laid down. If you decide that with whatever I'm doing, I can dedicate about 3 to 4 hours on a daily basis or 15 to 20 hours on a weekly basis, then how will those hours be utilized for this journey to progress is what is defined. It's clearly defined. Okay. So as far as every minute of this journey, it's measured and it's defined, and one has to just, it's like, why would you reinvent the wheel? Everything is already invented. So there are people who have had a roller coaster, who have had their successes, who have seen what works and what doesn't work. So it's like in your childhood, your parent teaches you how to cross the road. So you are actually taught, okay, first go stand there, look to the left, look at what is coming from here. And then if everything looks clear, then walk till the center of the road. Now look to your right. And then if everything looks clear, then walk across the road. So you know exactly step by step. So this journey is exactly, there is a parent, and with a lot of love, that mentor, because whatever is driving you becomes that mentor's passion to take you to your finishing line. So as long as that focus is clear, that is very important. So if that focus is clear, then the journey just becomes simple. So like I said, mind and parachutes function best when they are open. So how open and coachable are you? And how clear are you? If you don't even know that I want to cross the road, nobody can pull you.
Right.
You can only just take the horse to drink water. You cannot drink water for the horse. So it's defined. You know that, okay, this is where I want to go in my life. Whatever I have done has brought me to wherever I am. But to go to the next level, I will need to take the coaching and the mentorship of somebody who has gone to that level. So basic is, first of all, you need to get out of the denial that I have arrived in life. Nobody has arrived in life. Everybody has a journey which can get better. So that is one important.
So we need to come out of our comfort zone and work towards it. So, ma'am,
absolutely,
how easy or how difficult was your journey?
Oh, when I started, it looked like I am decided to climb Mount Everest. So it looked like an absolutely, what am I doing and where am I going? And it looked like a very huge task. Yeah. And as I I had the feeling that, is this really something I want to do? And what my mentor helped me to identify is, why would I do it? So of course, like Maslow's theory of self-actualization says, that there are levels of how you want to travel in your journey of life. And your basics are your roti kapda makan, or your basic. So you have all those needs hierarchy, which one has in life, and everybody has that. So my mentor kept saying, so I said, no, I want to, I want to be financial. I want to really have a big house, and I really want to have a fancy car, and so he kept asking me, okay, so if you don't have all of this, will your life stop? So I was mulling over it, and I said, no, my life won't stop. I will live a compromised life, but I will live it nonetheless. So he kept digging and digging and digging. Like 2 days, I my brains were feeling like so picked up. I was like, oh God, why? He just said, okay, so why would you do it? So why would you do it? And I was like, why would I do it? Okay, I want to fancy this. I want to, I want to have, like a woman always wants to have diamonds or jewelry or so all of that. And he was like, okay, so if you don't have this, what will happen? I was like, no, so I live my life even without that. That's okay, So I say, so what is it that will not allow you to die? And what is it that will wake you up every morning?
Mhm.
And that was such an aha moment for me, because that is a question no corporate asks you. You just go to work, come back home, trying to achieve whatever.
You're toiling for them, not for yourself.
Absolutely, So in a corporate, nobody asks you, what do you want? Your boss just tells you, okay, this is what you have to do. This is how much is the monthly target or whatever the annual target, and just go get it. We don't even question our bosses, why this figure? Why not this figure? We are so scared. We're scared because we operate out of insecurity. If I don't do it, somebody else will, and go ahead in life. But here, you are important. What do you want is important. And that's what we work on. And that is a very important aspect for change. That clarity is very important. So when I started the journey, it was very difficult because 3 to 4 hours of commitment, in spite of whatever I was doing, it looked like, oh God, there's so much, stretch. It's a lot of stretch because you're coming out of your comfort zone, your family time or your me time is something that then you start compromising on because, oh, you want to do this. So let's give it more time. Let's give it more time. Let me learn. So the learning, and there was so much baggage because 22 years of banking and finance experience, and then suddenly e-commerce. Why? Because it's a futuristic industry. Why? Because even KPMG has published a report pre-COVID saying this industry will become a 64,000 crores industry by 2025. So the future is very bright globally, and we can already see because of COVID, the growth has already picked up. Already last year during COVID, this is the only industry which grew 30% by 30% in spite of all the challenges across the world in all the industries. So it is a futuristic industry. It is meant for the times of today. It is recession proof. It is any kind of challenge proof. And one doesn't have anything to lose because you are exploring it as a diversification or as a backup or as an option B. Right. So when you start, your thought process is, okay, I'm doing this as option B. So that also becomes a challenge at times because sometimes that comes in the way. Sometimes some family function becomes more important than you focusing on your business. But if you see most successful business people, for them, they are okay to live a life of compromising on, all the family, we think work-life balance. There is no work-life balance actually. So initially it was a lot of conflict that was happening, and that conflict would kind of make me restless and what else, how else can I do, what else can I do? So I used to be torn. And what happens is, especially if you come from a background, and in India all the more, you count where go to a good school, get good education, get good marks, get a good job, settle down with a good partner, and life is sorted. So the very nothing against middle class, but it's a mentality that, that comes from our generations. Go to a good school, get good marks, get a good job, get a good partner, life is sorted. That's how we have been taught. Now, overcoming that mindset alone, because everybody else in your surrounding, in your environment follows that mindset and they feel, okay, that is good enough. So I think that is the mind, the mind has so much internal baggage or
we are conditioned that way.
Conditioning, exactly. So that deconditioning is a very challenging and a tough process because you're doing it all alone, and then you have this mentor who will show you how to do the deconditioning. But then again, there are two parts of you. The one part which says, Karna, you should do this, and the other part which gives you 10,000 reasons why no, but there's this, oh, there's that, oh, there's, so you get into that game of both the voices, and
Right.
mostly this voice is a little more louder and a little more stronger because of the conditioning, and this voice is like, okay, but still try, but so it's a lot of conflict. So the overcoming that, changing the mindset, and the whole training and the whole support system actually trains people to change the mindset. So money is a byproduct. Money will be a byproduct, but your mindset, the fresh mindset that you derive out of this is something that is priceless. It's nothing, nobody can buy that, because it's a collective experience of many people who have seen the success ladder.
Amazing, ma'am. So what I can conclude from your talk is one needs to break the shackles, unlearn whatever we have been taught, because the traditional mindset is not going to take us further in the current times. We have to gear ourselves with the armory which is required in order to succeed in the current scenario. And e-commerce is one platform which is the future. Yes, although intimidating for a newcomer, if we have proper guidance, proper mentorship, and a healthy attitude and a changed mindset, there is nothing to stop.
Absolutely. Bang on.
Right, ma'am. So, ma'am, our audience would definitely like to know how and where we can get this training and all. And the audience, I would be putting down the links in the description of where to get in touch with ma'am and how you can learn more about e-commerce, and under the guidance of this able lady who has been telling us what e-commerce is and how you need to overcome all the conditionings that you have, break them and move forward. Undoubtedly, those of you who are planning to venture into new things, explore new possibilities, I think this interview is going to be the thing for you. So thank you so much, ma'am. It was amazing having you on my show. A few last words that you would like to tell my audience.
Yeah, I'm very grateful to you to give me this opportunity to share my journey for the last 7.5 years as an entrepreneur. And what I would like to say as words that can probably help the audience is, wherever we are today, there is always somewhere else that we want to be tomorrow. And there are a lot of people out there to give you the guidance of how you can go to that next level. All that you need is to know why would you want it. So even Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why, if one reads the book, you get a lot of clarity. And the other book which really is very good to read is the book which was recently written is Die Empty. So we aren't going to carry anything with us. Whatever you have learned, if you can empower somebody else to become a better version of themselves, there is no, it's so priceless. It's such a satisfying experience that through this journey, I am able to empower somebody else to become one notch better than what they are today. It may not be a big shift, but even that small shift, somebody out there is waiting to experience it. And somebody out there is wanting to reach out to somebody who can give them that guidance. We all look up to somebody or the other, maybe our parents, maybe our teachers, maybe, so here is a journey which can help you overcome your fears, which can help you explore the potential that you have inside of you, which can give you a structured way of reaching that potential. Okay. As long as you are open to be coachable, flexible, and you are clear that you want to go to the next level. So,
Wonderful.
So I'm available to all those who would like to explore this journey.
Lovely, ma'am. Thank you so much for those encouraging words. And I'm sure looking at the links and taking your contacts, you will be getting more people who would like to be coached by you. Because undoubtedly, yes, there are hundreds and thousands of coaches around. And with the pandemic and the lockdown, I guess every Tom, Dick, and Harry is a coach. But we need to know where and whom to go to the right person so that we have the right resources and follow the right path. And like you said, the trial and error has been done. You've been there, done that, and you know how to maneuver around obstacles. Lovely, ma'am, and wishing you all the very best in all of your endeavors. And looking forward to having you again with maybe you can this time pick up one of your verticals and explain to my audience how that has actually, started, where it was and where it is now. Undoubtedly, like you said, the 30% growth in the lockdown situation, something unheard of in any other industry, but for the mask and the sanitizing industry, I guess. Anyways,
Absolutely. And that is also online. You
that
don't
was
have to go to a so yeah.
so everything
So
boils down
yes.
to the same thing now. Everything boils down there. Right, ma'am.
Education has become online. I mean, kids are studying from. So yeah.
Agreed, ma'am. Agreed, ma'am. So thank you so much for giving your valuable time and have an amazing business year ahead and looking forward for further collaboration. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I thank Brain Tunes. I thank Archana. And I'm really in deep gratitude for this wonderful opportunity. And I'm always available to help those who want help. So thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am.